Hello and welcome along to Mondo Chelloveck Movies. My name is John, and this video is going to be my complete collection of Section 1 Video Nasties Part 1. I split them into 4 parts because I think that 10 movies on one video is just about the right amount. I can talk about them more at length. What I'm going to do in this video is, at the end, I'll tell you how much I paid for these 10 movies. I'll also tell you how much you can get them for at today's market. I'll show you where's the best deal for them. Some of them are quite expensive, but that's just what happens with video nasties. For some reason, more than anything else, it seems like you're always going to be in this list of 39. You will always find some that will break the bank, but that's just the way it goes. But it's getting better. These days, it's a lot easier to collect them than it was, and it's a lot. Some of them are big tickets sales, but some of them are quite cheap, which is great because at the end of the day, it's 39 movies, so you know you're going to pay a fair whack for it, but you don't want to pay an exorbitant amount like you would have done back in the day. Also, what I do is I link down below the links to the Video Nasties live stream that I did with Nigel, aka Rockod 2004, link to his channel down below. And what I'll do is I'll put the corresponding live stream on that was dealing with these 10 movies. So if you want to know a little bit more about them or just hear us chewing the fat about them, you can go and check that video. It's a lot longer than this video, obviously. And also links down below to Double Bill Movies, Trev, and also Bumpers Movies, Craig. Now, what they've done between their two channels, they're going through these movies and they're doing individual sort of reviews on them. And they're really good, actually. So what I'll do is I'll link the first one from Trev and the first one from Craig, and you can navigate those ones yourself if you want to check out more to do with a sort of a really good in-depth view on these movies that I've got here. So up first is Absurd. This is directed by Joe D'Amato, and this is the Italian Collection, spine number 20. And it's got if you can get it, it's got this great booklet in here, which is written by Callum Waddell, and it goes through all of the video nasties, the whole lot, in the section 1. It tells you a little bit about his views on them. It's really good, actually. I forgot this was in this set. It's also got reversible art to its Rosso Sangue, I think that is. Excuse the pronunciations. I'll probably get them all wrong, which I do. Now, what I'll do is, as I've done with most of my videos recently, I will put screenshots on just to give you a bit of a flavour of what to expect from these movies. Now, I remember when this came out, well, on VHS, it was ultra hard to get. There was actually, I don't know anyone who had it, and I've never actually seen it in the flesh. So when this got announced, I was like, can't believe this one is coming out. And this just shows you these movies that would have brought the bank on VHS if this wasn't around. Now it's on a really good Blu-ray, and it means that you can sort of get a great quality on these movies instead of getting a really awful VHS, because usually most of the video nasties came out on bargain basement labels and they had no work done to one. They were just literally thrown on, put out, and that's what it is. I mean, they're highly collectible, but the quality of them is pretty awful, if I'm honest. This movie is actually an unofficial sequel to the next movie coming up. And you can kind of see it's not really a sequel, but it does retread the same sort of story as the one coming up. It's a great movie, I find, quite gory, quite bloodthirsty. Why did it get banned? I think it's because there's a girl in peril, and she was in a wheelchair, and I think that's what was the problem with this movie that kept this one from being released for many years. This was the first time ever this has got released in the UK, apart from the VHS ones. And sometimes I can't really tell you if the VHS were fully uncut or not. I presume they are, but a lot of these video nasties were cut on release. Can you believe it? But they still fell foul. Now this movie here has got a beautiful print on it. I find it's funny because this one I've seen a couple of really bargain basement video transfers off DVDs and were absolutely horrible. Now that's funny because this movie is actually also called Horrible, so that was a good way to sort of segue into that. But the picture quality in here I find is one of the best picture qualities of Banned Video Nasties. So I've got a list down here with prices, so excuse me, I'll have to read a couple of things off here. So I paid $14.99 for this, which is a great price. On eBay at the moment, you can get this for £15 to £20. In CEX, you can get it for £10. Severin do have a special edition, region free, for $28, and you also get the CD soundtrack with it. The soundtrack's actually quite good. And also, if you want to go to 88 Movie Films itself and get it from the store, it'll cost you £9.99. So this movie, to me, won't break the bank in any way you want to get it. It's funny because this was a really hard to get movie, and now it's quite easy. It's funny how these things turn around, and I was hoping that this would happen with more video nasties. It has to a certain extent, but I still think we need the tide to turn in the UK to get more of these really obscure banned video nasties out. So that's absurd. Next up is Anthropophagus, the beast. What a mouthful. Now this one here has the original video nasty cover. And I did used to have this slip with the video nasty slip on it. I don't know why I let that one go. Let it go for £10. Can you believe it? Back in the day, I just was getting some money together for me drums. Got a booklet in there as well. Now this is the first pressing of this movie. It's not available on 88's site anymore, but it does have on here a feature-length documentary, 42nd Street Memories: The Rise and Fall of America's Most Notorious Block. So that's on there, but it's not on the remastered one, which I'll talk about in a minute. So this movie fell foul of the censors for one scene. The movie itself is quite tame, but I personally think this movie is absolutely brilliant. I don't know why. A lot of people say it's one of the worst video nasties ever for just pacing, saying it's boring, but I don't find it boring at all. I just think the way it's shot, where it's shot in this island, this Greek island, I think it is. It's just amazing. I just get a blast out this movie. I don't know why. I just think it's absolutely great. And it's funny because some of these movies, it's also directed by Joe D'Amato, who obviously directed the sequel, the unofficial sequel. Same bloke who stars in here, George Eastman, although that's not his real name. So this movie is from 1980. It's by number 7. If you're looking to be a completist, you could get this one. It has got that exclusive documentary on it. But the actual picture quality has been given a 2K remaster. So what I do is I put 2 screenshots on. First one from this one, and second one from the remastered version. So as you can see, this is by far the better version for me, but it doesn't have the 42nd Street documentary on it. This one here has different art on it. It doesn't have the Banned Video Nasty art on it, unfortunately, but it has this great slipcover. The slipcover here is one of those like soft touch slipcovers, which I find really nice. So I paid £8.99 for this, and you can get this one in CEX for £15, probably cheaper on eBay. But for me, I would just leave that one side, get this one. This is by far the best one. So on 88's website, you can get this one for £12.99 without the slip, unfortunately. You can also get it for CEX in £15. You might get a slip on it, which I highly doubt, though. Obviously, looking at eBay, but actually, I couldn't find any of these on eBay at this point. And I'm filming this on the 4th of August, 2023, to give you a bit of a benchmark. If you're looking at this in the future, you might want to say that this was, I think, of a certain time. These prices are correct. Like I've just looked at these prices, and this is what you would pay in this time. So I paid £14.99 for this movie, and I would love this movie to come out in 4K. That's Anthropophagus, the Beast. Next up is Axe from 1977. This is the DVD, which I got from Morrison's, believe it or not. Wow. When I saw it, I couldn't believe it was actually on the shelves, and I thought, I'm having a bit of that. Known full well it was a Banned Video Nasty. Now, even though this is on DVD, this is a really nice set. And you can still get it on eBay for around about £5. That's what I paid for it. So this is not going to break the bank at all. This is an absolutely amazing edition. You get the movie there, and you also get this documentary in showreel, which is great. 2 great discs there. And you get this lovely packaging actually for a DVD. Like I say, you can get this for £5. Now, when you do get it, make sure it's got the R cards with it, because these R cards are absolutely brilliant. Take a look at these. You get an R card for Axe. You get an R card for I Drink Your Blood and I Eat Your Skin. That's a great film, that. That, not so much. Black and white, like voodoo film. You also get one for The Child, which I've just got off my good friend Nigel Jones. More about him in a minute. Hitchhike to Hell, which I've got an arrow down there, but I haven't watched it yet. You also get double feature, Kiss Me Quick, House on Bear Mountain. Never heard of it. Mantis Lace. Wow. A Scream in the Streets. Never heard of it. The Toy Box, which I've got somewhere on DVD. Strange film. I think that says Section 3 Video Nasty, believe it or not. So yeah, so do try and get it. If you're going to get it, get them all cards in it. Now this movie is a short movie. I think it's only just over an hour long. And this presentation on the DVD is pretty good. Even though this movie is super short, I find that you fit a lot into it. I think it's a really great film. It's one of those ones where it surprises you how good it is. It's another one that they say is not very good, but I tend to differ quite a lot with when they say, "Oh, this is just a really sort of daft, boring film." You've got to kind of go on with a video nasty mindset when you watch these movies. Yes, they're not going to be the best movies ever made, but there's something about these movies I always find really intriguing and fascinating about the fact of why was this banned. I think this is banned just because of the title. I think a lot of these movies fell foul just because of the actual things that are implied in this movie. It's not gory at all, this movie, but it's kind of these three gangsters come to this. They're on the run. And they come to this house where this girl here has got a dad is sort of he's sort of really out of it, and she looks after him. And they go to the house, a bit of a sort of house invasion. And what do you think happens there? Yeah, brilliant. But I think it's a really good one to watch. If you want to get this DVD, get across to eBay. You get one for about £5. But check to see it's got those R cards in it. They're well worth getting. Also, don't go and get it off Amazon because this very set will cost you £25, which, wow, it's good, but it's not worth £25. Now, if you want to get one from the States, you can get the Something Weird DVD, which is £25 from Amazon. That's the one I was talking about there. And also there's a Blu-ray for £34. Now on the Blu-ray, you do get another movie from this director, and it's a double bill. And I think the quality is meant to be quite good, but that's £34. So it's a little bit one of those things where if one of these ones where I think if you can get this for £5, check it out for £5. If you like it, I would love to upgrade this on Blu-ray. But I've got a feeling that this will come out somewhere in the UK on Blu-ray because there's nothing in it that I would say will keep it foul of the censors these days. So that's Axe. So next up is The Beast in Heat, obviously covering some of there because you don't want the algorithm picking up on that one. Wow. Anyway, this is also called Horrifying Experiences in the Last Days of the SS. This is a Nazi exploitation movie, and it is one of the best ones. When I say one of the best ones, I mean one of the worst ones. It's absolutely terrible, but in a good way. It's so funny, this movie, you can't believe it. But saying that though, the picture quality is absolutely stunning. It's released by Seven in the US and it's region free. Now, I will point out ones that aren't region free on here. I'll go through them when I come to them. And this one, like I say, it's one of those movies got special features on as well, and you think to yourself, it's another one that was incredibly difficult to get on VHS. Obviously, the banned video nasty of this one goes for a stupid amount of money because there's hardly any pressed. But it's great that this one came out. This is another one I thought would never see the light of day, but here it is, and it looks in like great condition. Yes, it is laughable. Obviously, the beast in here, you want to see him, and it's yeah, it's really absolutely unbelievable. This movie. I can see why this movie got banned. Will this get released in the UK? I don't know. There's some questionable bits in it. It's one of those ones I don't think it sits right with the censors. But if I'm honest, I've seen worse get passed in the UK, so there's every chance it could do. But if you want to get it, I paid £20 for this movie, and if you want to get it, you can get it on Amazon for £24 and eBay for £20 to £25. So it's not in the break the bank. It's a great movie if you like these sort of movies, but if you're collecting this, you're going to collect this one anyway. And it might be one of the ones where you look at it and you think, well, it's not my type of movie. But if you look at this as an unintentional comedy, try and seeing that after 20 pints, you'll have a blast with it. It's from 1977, fully uncut. And yeah, you've just got to see it to believe it when you see the beast in it. Yeah, it's just next level weirdness. So that is The Beast in Heat. Next up is A Bay of Blood. This is directed by the amazing Mario Bava. And if you think Friday the 13th, you're halfway there. I think Friday the 13th took a lot out of this from this movie. Now, this movie is one of the ones that's released in these amazing window boxes from Arrow. Absolutely brilliant. Now, back in the day, I paid 15 to 17.99 for this. I'm not quite sure how much I paid for this movie. And If you want to get it on now, it's on Amazon, £25 plus. I think you might get the window box if you're lucky. And you can get a French Blu-ray for £14, and CEX will get it for £10, and you might get it with that slipcover. I don't know. It's not been. I don't think it's. Yes, it has been re-released in standard Arrow form. Now, this is one of. I love Mario Bava. I think this is one of his best ever movies. And like I say, it's basically a forerunner. It's basically Friday the 13th in a fashion. And when I put it on, I was expecting to see good things because Arrow do some great transfers with these movies, and the transfer here is absolutely brilliant. It's one of these movies I can see coming out in 4K. I do think that UK, especially with Arrow talking about Blood and Black Lace on 4K, I do think they might take a look at Mario Bava's stuff because they've released quite a lot of his stuff over the years on Blu-ray in their collection. And if they're going to start to do more Mario Bava on 4K, I would love to see that. But this set is absolutely incredible. It's got everything you could want for this movie. And if you can get it, do pick it up. It's got a ton of stuff in it. And yes, what I think it was just basically put on the list because it's basically like a Friday the 13th movie, and there's a lot of kills in here. It's for 1971. It's really gory, and it's Mario Bava, so you can't say anything bad about it. So that's A Bay of Blood. Very sinister. Next up has the title of being the first ever gore movie, 1963's Blood Feast. This is directed by Herschel Gordon Lewis, the great Herschel Gordon Lewis. He is just, his stuff is just next level. Now, when this movie came out in 1963, if you watch it now, actually, I watched this with a Debs. She says, I'm not going to watch that, it's banned. And I went, well, take a look at it and you'll think nothing that about it. The picture quality in here is absolutely stunning, though. This is a great release from Arrow, and you do get another movie on here called Scum of the Earth, I believe. Yes, that's a great movie as well. Black and white, though. This one's in colour. This movie here is one of those movies where you watch it and you can't believe what you're seeing. It's only an hour long, and it has this, well, this ridiculous story about this. And some of these ridiculous stories are absolutely brilliant. This fella who looks nothing like that, he is going to make this Egyptian banquet. Is he called Farouk or something like that? And he runs this shop. And he keeps when this woman comes in and says, I want to plan something for my daughter's 18th. He says, I've got a good one for you. Why don't you have an Egyptian banquet? And he says, one hasn't been done for 5,000 years. She says, oh, that sounds good. And he wants to do this banquet where basically kind of slaughter people, chop them up and put them into this banquet and make people eat it. And that will be a sacrifice to his god, and he can get his god to come back from the dead. Obviously, it's a true story. But Herschel Gordon Lewis says on these movies, he said, look, it was just a bit of fun. We did it for a laugh. We did it to see how far we could go. This movie is ultra gory. The stuff in here you wouldn't believe. Yeah, you can see it's a dummy mile off, but it's just the fact he did this with this amount of blood in it was never done before. And, this is just next level for 1963. Highly recommended. I paid £12.50 for this. Now, on eBay, you can get it for £15, but in CEX, you can get it for £5. So I urge you to go to CEX and see if you can get this. This is more than worth £5. It's one of the cheapest ones on this list, actually. One of the easiest ones to get. This was another one on VHS. You could not get it for love nor money. But it's great that these things are coming out. Like I say, the picture quality is so great, and the blood in here, it's just it's over the top. Looks like really the reddest paint you can ever get. But that's part of the charm of this movie. So that's Blood Feast. Next up is the Ghastly ones, or Blood Rites as it's known. That's why it's in, alphabetical order. You say it's not, but it is, if you know what I mean. This one was gifted to me by my good friend Nigel Jones, who's done really great things for me on my channel, and I can't thank him enough. Now, this is one of the ones where I thought I'm never going to get this movie. Now, this is a hard one to get. This is the DVD version, and DVD looks quite, it looks quite low budget, or it's a low budget movie. All of Andy Milligan's movies are ultra low budget, so know that you'll never get this in great condition. What I've done is I've got a screenshot of this one, which weirdly enough, the screenshot looks better than the Blu-ray, but it's not. There's a load of scratches on this movie, and I think on the Blu-ray there is as well, but I've had a bit tidying up with it. The Blu-ray looks a bit darker for me, but I'll show you the screenshots now. The first one will be this one, and the second one will be the Blu-ray. This one again comes from a low budget director, Andy Milligan. And it's funny because a lot of the things in this movie don't make sense. The start of it has got nothing to do with the rest of the movie. It's odd, but I watched the commentary of this. The commentary is really good because you find out loads of stuff about this movie, and you find out about this killer. Yeah, that's not going to be a spoiler. And there is a twist to this movie. This movie is, like I say, it's I thought it was in black and white. It's in color. It's so low budget. There's dirt and debris all over the screen. This is a great version actually. And I was so glad to get this one because if you want to get, I mean, Nigel sent this over to me free. Now, if you want to buy this one here, it'll cost you around about £15 plus, £15 on a good day, and £15 plus usually. And also, if you want to get that Blu-ray, you've got to pay round about between £77 and £100 to get this big box set with about 15 movies on it, of Andy Milligan's movies. But it's I was thinking about it, but I thought, you know what it is? That's going to be a big ticket item for something that could be, the majority of the movies could be really sort of bad. And I don't mind bad movies, I like my sort of so bad they're good movies, but there might be more bad ones than good ones. I will get it, but it'd have to be a lot cheaper. It doesn't look like it's going to come down. It's always been like massive amount of money. And also as well, the picture quality I think is not a huge jump up, and when it's on Blu-ray.com, they did say that the Blu-ray quality was quite poor for a Blu-ray, but I think it's going to be poor anyway. It's filmed on 16mm. I don't know where the elements are being kept. I'd imagine probably in a dustbin somewhere. I would urge you probably, if you're thinking about this movie, try and get it underneath £20 on eBay. You're probably best off doing that. If you go to Amazon, you're probably going to pay about £25 for it. And it is at this point a hard one to get in the UK. It's not available at all in the UK. I don't think it's ever been available in the UK. The movie itself, it's a good movie. I enjoy it. It doesn't make too much sense. Obviously, like Victorian as well. I don't know why it's set in Victorian times. It doesn't really explain itself like that. They must have just got some Victorian clothing and thought, oh, we'll just use this in the movie. Special effects are quite good. Yes, it's quite gory. It's more gory than I thought it was going to be, but I could see this easily coming out uncut in the UK. But is it going to be one of those rights issues again where you can't, certain movies just cannot see the light of day over here? I don't know. It's a bit of a shame that. But yeah, 1968, strange one, something weird, definitely. But I urge, well, if you're going to collect this set, these movies are going to collect this one, I would urge you to go for this one if you can, or the other one will break the bank, but it's up to you. Okay, so that's the Ghastly ones. Next up is Bloody Moon. That's the Video Nasty cover. So that made me think, is this why this got banned? Possibly. This movie is by Jess Franco, and when I got it, I thought, I bet this looks absolutely terrible. Now it's a Seven release from you. It's a proper UK release from Seven, which you don't get many of them, but they do it from time to time. And I thought this one was going to look really poor, but it looked absolutely pristine. This is basically a slasher movie. Got a bit of a twist into it, quite a good twist actually. It's got some absolutely, weird acting in here. It is fully uncut. There is a bit of animal violence in here, which is not good. We don't want to see that. It's not much, but it's enough. When you see it, you think, oh, I didn't think that was a thing. You get a little bit of extras on here, not too much, but it's a really good movie. I paid £10 for this, but on eBay you can get it for £10 or lower, and CEX will do £12 at the minute. This is quite a gory little movie, and actually for Jess Franco, who makes some really bad movies, this is quite a good movie for him. It's one of his better works. So that's Bloody Moon. Next up is a slasher classic, The Burning. This movie is absolutely brilliant. The 4K I've heard looks absolutely stunning, so there is a 4K upgrade there if you want to get it. So on Amazon at the minute, the 4K is £30. But this one is just a spectacular movie. I love everything about this movie. This is one of the ones where you think, when you watch it as a kid and you love it, will it be as good when you watch it as an adult? And it's absolutely brilliant. I love this movie a lot more now. I did actually. I didn't think I would. But this is basically a Friday the 13th kind of. It's not a rip-off. I wouldn't call this a rip-off at all. This is equally as good, if not better, than the original Friday the 13th. Kind of hold a candle to this movie. And that's not saying anything about Friday the 13th. I love their movies, as you know. But it's about this fella who gets sort of like burned, and he comes back to wreak his vengeance on the kids who come to the camp like years later. but it's a great film. And you can see why this was cut. This video nasty was a video nasty for certain things to do with these, and anything to do with household equipment that people could get their hands on, they would instantly think like nunchuckers, hammers, everything, anything that was in a movie like that. They would obviously cut it up. They would take it out because they would think that everyone is going to do copycat these things. And to be honest, I don't think anyone did. Just shows you how much Mary Whitehouse and her cronies knew about this all. But anyway, getting off topic, if you want to hear about what we think about Mary Whitehouse, check out that live stream down below. But this one for me is one of the best video nasties out there. And it's funny because when you think of video nasties, yes, there is some really bad, low budget sort of trash, but excellent movies in this list in forthcoming videos. This one is a really good movie, and it's really well done as well. And it's a shame that this movie fell foul and became a video nasty. But then again, did it help its sort of reputation? Probably. But if you want to get this one, I paid $7.99 for this. It was in the sale actually. The 4K from Amazon is £30. CEX will get you about £10 for this. There is a steelbook out, which I think is a lot more than that. That's a narrow steelbook. And also you can get it for $8.99 on Amazon. So that's The Burning. As a quick side note before I get the next title, this movie is actually region locked. So you need a region free player to actually play this DVD. I don't know if I mentioned that and said it was region free, but it's actually region locked to US. You need a region free player to watch this disc. So last on this list is Cannibal Apocalypse. This is actually region locked as well to region A. So you need a region free player to play this disc. This movie is a brilliant movie. And funny enough, when this was on VHS or any other ones that I've seen of this one actually was always a bit of a bad quality movie. But on the Blu-ray looks absolutely stunning. This is released by Kino Lorber. And I think that this title actually can be a little bit confusing because it says Cannibal Apocalypse. It makes you think it's going to be like Cannibal Holocaust, Cannibal Ferox, but it's not. It's these guys get like sprayed when they're in Vietnam with this chemical. It turns them into a little bit like cannibalistic, but just like eat people. So that's what happens to them. And it's actually, if you want to get this in the UK, you can get a UK DVD of this, which is a quite good quality, quite good special edition. But it does have a slight, and I mean a slight cut in it. This is fully uncut. The cut, actually, if you're prepared to put up with it, which I did for the on the DVD, I wasn't bothered about it at all. It's about 1 second of a rat on fire, and that's it. That's it done. So these that's what's cut out, but it's in here. And like I say, blink and you miss it. So it's not as if it's gonna. If you're perfectly all right with the DVD version, which actually you can get for £5 or below. Actually, I think it's either £1 on eBay. So I paid 18.74 for this one, and on Amazon it's on for £24 at the minute. But that's not a bad price for this. Like I say, it's got some special features on here. It's a great movie. Don't think of it as like cannibals in the jungle. It's got nothing to do with that. It's mainly these people going like having a riot around New York. It's a really fun movie actually. It's got some great performance in here. It's got some amazing gore in it as well. This scene here is brilliant where this bloke gets his stomach actually blown out with a shotgun. It's just a great fun movie that stars the late great John Saxon and also Giovanni Lamberto Regici, who is they both recently passed away, which is terrible when you think about it. It's just it's just the way of the world at the minute. All our favourite stars from all these movies are reaching. You kind of forget how old these people are, and they're in the 70s and 80s, and then time catches up. So, but it's a sad thing to be thinking about at this time. Anyway, this movie here, Cannibal Apocalypse, highly recommended. I personally think it's one of the best video nasties out there, and it's such a kind of like a riot for me, and it's got some great acting in here. So that's Cannibal Apocalypse. The movie I think is the hardest to get in this video is the Ghastly ones. That's a bit tricky to get. And my favourite movie in this section is The Burning. So, thanks for watching. You take care. Don't forget to check those links out down below. And I'll see you in the next video. Cheers.